Hello everyone, my name is Shrinath Nair and today I'll be making a confit egg yolk with savory pavlova with vegetable nash, roasted cauliflower puree. So let's get started. For the vegetable nash we have yellow, green zucchini, sage, white wine, butter. For the egg yolk confit we have US eggs, thyme, we have rosemary, we have olive oil, we have peppercorns and a bit of lemon juice. For the roasted cauliflower puree, we have cauliflower, salt, pepper, cream, sugar and some white wine. For the chicken oysters, we have chicken, panko breadcrumbs, we have flour, we have egg. We also have some micro herbs, we have some soaked morel mushrooms and some edible flowers for the garnish as well. So first we'll start with the savory pavlova because that takes a bit of time. So let's start it. I have some water in a pan. We'll be making a stock for the pavlova. We'll be adding some thyme and a bit of lemon juice and we're going to bring it to a boil. So while the stock gets ready, we can get started with the roasted cauliflower puree. So in the roasting pan, we'll be adding our cauliflowers with oil, salt and pepper. We're going to give it a nice mix and we're going to roast it in the oven for around 20 minutes until the cauliflowers are nicely roasted and brown in color. We have a stock ready. Let's make the savory pavlova. For 150 grams of stock, it's egg white powder. So let's start beating the egg white powder with the stock. We'll be adding the sugar in 2 parts because it needs to foam up, because if you add it directly all together, the foam will drop off. So we need to add the sugar gradually. So our pavlova is ready. So now we'll be taking it out. It needs to have nice stiff peaks. So we'll be greasing the foil in which we're going to bake it. And we're going to pour a pavlova mixture over there. And I'm going to shape it in a round because that's how I want it. I'm going to place a light insertion in between to place my egg yolk in between. And now we're going to bake it at 90 degrees for 1.5 hours. So now we'll be confiting our egg yolk, so for which we'll be needing olive oil, some peppercorns, a sprig of rosemary and a few sprigs of thyme. And we're going to wait until the temperature of the oil reaches 60 degrees Celsius and then we'll be adding our egg yolks into it. Now we'll slowly drop the egg yolk into the oil. And we're going to cook it for around 20 to 25 minutes until the yolk is nice and tender. But we do not want to cook it through. We're going to keep the insides moist. So now let's take out the cauliflower which we had put it in the oven. As you can see, it's nice and roasted. And now we're going to puree our cauliflower in a pan. We're going to add some sugar. Quickly, we're going to add a bit of water. We do not want the sugar to burn. We're also going to add a knob of butter. So once the butter is melted, we'll be adding our cauliflowers to it. We're gonna season it with salt and pepper. Now finally we're gonna add the cream. And now we're gonna blend it into a fine puree. Puree is ready and now we're going to strain it using a strainer. As you can see, our egg yolk is ready. We're going to slightly remove it off. In a pan, we'll be adding the butter. We added 1 sprig of rosemary and we're going to add few sage leaves. And so now we'll be adding water into it. And we're going to season it with salt and we're going to bring it to a boil. So we'll be sauteing the morel mushrooms in butter. So we're going to melt butter in a pan. Now we're going to add the morel mushrooms into it. We have some soaked morel mushrooms which have soaked overnight. Now we're going to quickly toss it in the butter. We're going to sprinkle it with a bit of salt and a bit of white pepper. And in the water, we're going to add our vegetables, green, yellow zucchini and carrot dices. We're going to cook it for a couple of minutes, and now we're going to remove our mushrooms and set aside. Now we're going to strain the vegetables. So now for the chicken oyster, we're going to break an egg into a bowl and we're going to whisk it. We'll be seasoning our chicken with salt and pepper. Now we're going to dredge it in flour. We're going to take out the excess flour and now we're going to dip it into the egg mixture we've beaten. Now enter the panko breadcrumbs. And we're going to set it aside. We're going to do the same with the rest. So now we're going to deep fry our chicken oysters. So we'll be deep frying until it's golden brown. It won't take much time as the chicken oyster is a very tender part and it cooks really quickly. And we don't want to burn it, so we're going to cook it until it's nice and golden. So you can see it's nicely done. We're going to take it out onto a dish over here. So now let's start with the plating. We have our roasted cauliflower puree. Now we're going to place a savory pavlova in between, and we're going to put some morels on the side. We're going to add the vegetables on the side. We're going to place the chicken oysters on the side. Next, we're going to place the egg yolk on top of the pavlova. Fill it with a bit of salt. We have some frizzy over here. We're going to just slightly dress it with oil, salt and pepper. I'm going to give it a nice mix. We have some micro herbs over here. We have some edible flowers over here. And there you go. My dish is ready. So here's my dish. Confit egg yolk with savory pavlova. And I would like to thank Emirates Culinary Guild and US Egg Board for giving us this opportunity. And thank you for watching.